Hey, all of you Hounds fans, how you doing on this fun Monday? Hopefully, y'all had a great weekend, and hopefully, you had a chance to watch the game on Saturday. If you didn't, shame on you because you missed a good one. But don't worry, I'm here to fill you in case you did miss it. And I'll tell you what, again, the Greyhounds did not disappoint this weekend. It was a little tense during the first quarter. I have to admit, it was kind of a nail biter because Assumption and Merrimack were trading blows, going back and forth. And as I mentioned, I don't think I did a preview video this week, so I apologize. But Merrimack had a pretty good record last year, coming in at 6-5. They've had a few losses this year already, but I knew that they were going to be a tough opponent for Assumption. And what really stinks is this week we did not have our top two offensive players playing. I believe Coach Chesney is resting them for next week, which should be an exciting matchup, which is LIU Post. But let's talk about Merrimack right now, because as I mentioned, they were trading blows. And I always try to mention new players. I don't like always talking about the same player every time. And I'll tell you this, Brandon Swain Price did not disappoint. He had one of the opening catches and got drilled for Assumption. I mean, he got leveled, never saw the defender coming, but he did something unusual that most wide receivers don't. He came up with the ball, and later on in that series, he went on to score. So he had, I'm going to refer to my notes here, folks. I got way too much info. He had 4 catches for, I believe it was 62 yards, and a touchdown, which was awesome. And of course, Mr. Do-It-All, everything. Deontay Harris did not disappoint this week. He had 92 yards and 2 TDs. And what's awesome about this guy is that he doesn't stop. When he gets hit, he keeps his legs pumping. You know he's going to get another 4 or 5 yards at least. And he did that a couple times. He even had a couple of 8 or 10 yard gainers after the reception. So that was awesome. The other young man I want to mention, he's actually a junior, and ironically, his name is Junior Arambi. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that name. But I just want to mention because he had 1 reception for 23 yards. What's even more special, he had a touchdown as well. So that was just an awesome day for the receiving corps. And I'll tell you, it didn't stop there. Of course, we had Dylan Oxen, who I've talked about the last couple of weeks. I said he was going to be a great fill-in for James Ward, who graduated last year. And again, this kid didn't disappoint. He had I believe it was 15 carries for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. And also Doug Santos, who's a true freshman. I love this kid. I talked about him earlier too. He had 90 yards and a touchdown as well, which was awesome. And then Mark Monks even had he squeaked in a rushing touchdown as well for 14 yards. Plus, of course, Mark, if you don't know, he's the starting quarterback. He had another solid game. So I love what the offense is doing. Coach Chesney is just spreading it around to all different offensive players. And I'll tell you what, let's talk about the defense real quick because, as usual, Mr. Consistency, Jared Casey, he had another 12 tackles, 4 solo and 8 assisted. So 12 tackles, that's been his best game so far this year. Nick Valenti had 3 solo with 6 assists and for a total of 9 tackles. And Charles Reed, who I've been talking about, he seemed like he was all over the field Saturday. I saw him pass breakup after pass breakup. He had a big one in the end zone that could have surely been a touchdown. He also had a big interception, which was a kind of a game-turning type of situation. And also what really impressed me was he was covering one of the wide receivers, and it looked like the wide receiver was bobbling the ball. I didn't even think he had it. And Charles stayed with him. A lot of the other D-backs probably would have given up on the player, gotten burned. He stayed with him, tackled him about 10 yards down the field, but still tackled him because he had nothing but pasture, the Merrimack receiver. If Charles didn't stay with him, that would have been a touchdown. And that could have been one of those game-changing type of plays that takes us the wind out of Assumption sails. But anyway, they went on to blow Merrimack out, which was great. They played awesome all around, D-line, O-line. Merrimack only really scored their big plays on long runs. It was just some breakdowns in the Assumption defense. I'm sure Coach Chesney will work on that this week with the boys because they can't break down like that against LIU Post. LIU Post will expose that and take advantage of it all game. So anyway, solid game all around, and look for me to get my review out about LIU Post earlier this week because that's going to be a huge game, folks. This is going to be the any 10 game of the year right here. I'm telling you right now. A lot of people talked about New Haven and Assumption, but New Haven's already got 2 losses. This is the fight of the undefeated, folks. So the game of the undefeated. So watch it. Make sure to look out for my review. Take care.